What's going on, YouTube family? Today we're going to be talking about why am I starting a rental car business in 2026. So one of the reasons why I'm getting back into the game is during SEMA I was presented an amazing opportunity that made me really think about jumping back into the rental car game. And so I want to say that to the end. But let's talk about the actual rental car market itself. Now, over the last year and a half, it's literally been a race to the bottom. If anybody's been doing Turo, I'm sure you guys have seen, the market is extremely saturated. People are dropping their prices. And so when people kept telling me, why don't you get into the market? I'm like, there's too much people out there giving stuff away. It's not a good time. Now, the app Turo, I don't like it, but I also don't hate it. It gives regular people a taste if you want to become an entrepreneur and start doing rentals. But at the same point, it gives the wrong people opportunity to open up rental car companies and jump into the rental car game. Now, during the last year and a half, the race to the bottom was basically initiated by a price free-for-all and demand slowing down. Now that people are not traveling, they're not doing as much, prices are going down, demand is going down, and traditionally what happens is a lot of us rental car companies will defleet our vehicles, get rid of some to help lower overall costs and save some money. But the downfall is a lot of people during this last, 3 or 4 years during the pandemic were buying cars way over value, and they were robbing the piggy bank. Every dollar they made from Turo, they would stick in their pockets. They wouldn't pay down depreciation. They wouldn't pay down maintenance. They wouldn't pay anything off towards the car. They would just keep all the money and show all their friends how much money they're making. That's why if you watch YouTube, a lot of the people that used to talk trash are all gone. They're all out of business or been in jail or raided by the feds as we speak. So as far as the rental car game goes, there's really not that many of us left that are actually doing it the right way. But because of this, it basically presented the perfect storm where I knew that people were going to get so desperate to keep their cars renting that they would just give them away for nothing, just whatever it takes to sell the car. Where if I rent a car, let's just say it's a Toyota Camry, $40,000 car. I'm going to price it where I'd say, okay, we have depreciation, we have maintenance, we have our insurance, our overhead, and then a little bit of profit. And I'll always rent it at this, let's say $60. That is my dollar amount. Where on Turo, people were just renting it out for $30. They didn't care. They just wanted to cover their $400 or $500 car payment. They didn't care about nothing else. They just wanted to make sure that they were breaking even. And I knew once the market started sliding this way, it would only be a matter of time before a lot of these people either had a bad month, either lost their car, got repoed, or just got sick of all the headaches, or Turo kicked them off. So over the last few months, I've gotten tons of crazy messages and emails of people saying, hey, Turo kicked me off. What am I supposed to do now? I got 20, 30, 40, 50 cars. How do I make money? And so they call me to get a rental car license and to get set up. And once they find out what the actual overhead and cost is, they asked me, well, how am I supposed to make money? And I was like, exactly. You cannot make money in the model that you have. You guys are giving cars away. You're not basically taking care of them and you're not paying down your loans. You ain't never gonna get ahead of it. And so unfortunately, there are a lot of people out there that literally committed financial suicide by buying cars that they simply couldn't afford. There was a lot of these YouTube gurus that were telling people to go buy, 6, 10, 15, 20 cars under their personal name and then just rent them out and make a bunch of money on Turo. Well, that was great when, the money was flowing, the economy was good, but now things are slowed down. What are you supposed to do? Well, all those cars that you bought at the peak of 2022 and 2023, you can't get rid of them because you owe more money than what they're worth. And then if you rent them on Turo, nobody wants to rent them because they're just regular cars and nothing spectacular. So now you're buried in debt, you can't do anything, and you're pretty much stuck. And so this is one of the reasons why I'm jumping into the market now, because a lot of these people are basically getting cleaned out through Turo. Turo's kicking these people off the platform. People are quitting left and right. And all I hear is people saying they're not making any money, which is good because this will bring back a little bit of that demand because supply will be down and we can start charging regular prices. So one of the main reasons I decided to get back into the industry is because I was offered an opportunity at a local casino here in Las Vegas to actually set up a rental car business, because if I can operate inside a casino, it's guaranteed business. I don't have to really worry about it. Not that much competition, because I don't want to compete with people from Turo, because at the end of the day, we could have the same cars, but they're going to charge way cheaper because they don't have the same amount of overhead as I do. On top of that, I don't want Turo taking 30% of my income just because of my app or whatever else. I can do it myself, rent to people here in Las Vegas and lots of tourists, and also you guys, if you guys want to rent for me on my website, and that's one of the reasons why I figured now would be a great time to get started, because Costs are going down. I talked to my insurance guy. Unfortunately, insurance is very expensive. That's another reason why I'm getting into it, because half the rental car companies here in Vegas I know are not legit or legal. It's a bunch of these guys running exotic cars and highline cars for next to nothing. So one of the things is, like, people are asking me, are you going to do exotic cars? Are you going to do specialty cars? I'm going to do regular cars. I am going to have a few fun exotics and some cool stuff. Maybe a lifted smart car, like kind of as a dune buggy for something for fun. I'll have some classic cars and maybe one or two exotics. The reason is because this is why, I don't know if you guys know Houston, he got out of the game, is if I want to rent, let's say, a Lamborghini Huracan, I would rent it to you for $2,500 a day. Now, I know a lot of you guys in the comment section to be like, well, wow, Lucky, I can get it for $1,500 a day or even $1,000 a day. And I can say, yes, you're correct. You can get that from a Turo host or somebody that doesn't have any licensing or any insurance, because just the monthly cost of my insurance is probably going to be $1,500 to $1,800 a month. On top of that, I'm going to have maintenance, pay down. Since it's a vehicle in my company name, not my personal name, that I'm paying at a much higher rate because it's a commercial loan, my payment's probably going to be $5,000, $6,000 a month. So I need to make sure that I pay that down, and majority of the money that I get basically goes towards the car. But this is why we set up this way. Now, the main reason why I don't want to jump into exotics right away is because of what I just told you right there. Why would somebody pay $2,500 for a rental for me when they can get it some clown off of, some parking lot or some Turo app and drive it around for $1,500 a day? Why rent my car for one day when they can rent theirs for 2 days? And then I know that people are going to want to save money and they're wanting to do the most in their Vegas vacation. So I don't blame them for wanting to do that. But at the end of the day, I have to do things correctly. I have to do it legitly. So maybe one or two exotics, if that. I'm not going to do a fleet because it's a nightmare and I really don't want to deal with it. I make more money off of something, just regular. Like, perfect example, there's these little like golf carts and buggies that they rent out here for $200 to $300 a day. That's why I'm doing the lifted smart cars. You may laugh and think it's hilarious, but at the same point, it's, if I buy this car for, $3,000, I wrap it, I lift it, I'm all in maybe $6,000, $7,000, and I rent it for, let's say, $60 to $100 a day. That car will pay for itself off in less than 6 months, and it's all profit from there. And the cost of keeping them clean and insuring them is extremely low, and they're just absolutely hilarious. People love these things. If you're going to come to Vegas and drive around, why not get a convertible smart car that's lifted, that looks like an absolute monstrosity that you can roll on the strip and have fun with? Or for $60, you can go get a Malibu at the airport and still pay extra fees when you go to park. So that's one of the benefits of me wanting to do something a little bit different. Now, I think the classic car thing is going to make me some real money. That's where there's nobody here in Las Vegas that does classic cars. So everything I'll be building, it's going to be, LS swapped or Coyote swapped. It'll be a retro rod. It'll be a classic car, but it will look and drive like a modern vehicle. And that's my goal, because I want to make sure that they have ABS, they have no problems, they get started, because I've rented classic cars before and it was a nightmare. People don't know how carburetors work. They would crank them. They didn't know how to, they wouldn't start. They'd press the gas pedal all the way down, flood the car, then they'd call me. Or my favorite was, we had this old Cadillac that people used to use for weddings. And so I bought one just to keep up with, everybody else in my area. And people would call me, hey, there's something wrong with the power steering. It's not really working. And I'm like, well, some of these cars don't have power steering or power brakes. It's all manual. Like, you got to crank on that thing to make it move. And that's why they got these 10-foot steering wheels in the old cars, because you had to crank on this thing to get some real leverage. So it's pretty hilarious. But retro rods, I think, will be a good thing. But really, the main reason why I want to do it is because, like I said, the market, it's down. People are going broke. I hate to say it. I've seen friends that were in the rental car space here in Las Vegas. They're all gone. Houston was my last friend that basically did it, and he decided he wanted out of it. He didn't want to deal with the people anymore. And, I don't know if I'm a glutton for punishment or if I just, got bored and want to jump back in. But the opportunity that was presented to me was too good to pass up. Like, how could you not want to be in a casino in Las Vegas? And it makes me like super excited to get started in this. And that's where I'm at now. I'm literally in a parking lot downtown because I was just driving around looking at other locations where I can park cars, because unlike a lot of people, I am going to use my own app, but more importantly, you could rent the car without me even being there. We're setting it up where you could basically go to my app, you click on the car, as soon as you book it, it'll send you a text message when you're close to the car, it'll read your phone, it'll unlock the car, you can hop in, you can drive it. take pictures, then when you leave, come back, it checks it all in. So, I hear all these clowns on YouTube saying that they have rental car automation. I know they don't, because one, you have to have a license to get this software that I have. I know they don't got that. And I know the people that own the software, and when I ran all these YouTube guys' names through them, they said 100% nobody has it. So hopefully watching this process will show you guys that you truly can automate your system and make it where you don't have to be there to book it, but you still have to have a good system of people coming to pick up the cars, clean them, the maintenance, but more importantly, the financial aspects. Putting them in your company name, getting the insurance in your company name, not ruining your personal credit and trying to get everything through there. If you do it correctly from the get-go, the business is a lot of fun. So at least this way you guys can follow me for the journey and see how it all goes. Now, this last 2 weeks has been nuts. I had SEMA and then I had F1. So I'm back in the backyard as of today. We're going to be finishing up the cars to finish our car flipping series. We got about 6 or 7 cars that we just bought that we're going to show you. I'm actually, now some of the cars I'm buying, I'm not going to sell. I'm actually going to turn in the rental cars. So I'll put a little picture here. I picked up like 6 smart cars, and all these things I'm going to lift them and wrap them. I don't know if I want to do Pokemon or Mario Kart. I think Mario Kart would be hilarious, but I'm worried that somebody will try to crash into each other if I wrap them all up in Mario Kart doing something stupid. But, these are some of the things I'm going to be working on, and I'd love to know your guys' opinions in the comment section below. What is your current thoughts and feelings about the rental car market? Are you a Turo host? How is it going in your local area? Now, here in Vegas, I'm sure you guys have seen the headlines. Vegas is dead. Vegas is dead. It is dead. Like this parking lot that I'm sitting in, this is why I decided to film it here. I'll wrap you around here once I'm done. It's empty. There ain't nobody here. And this is a downtown, beautiful day. Usually we get busier as it starts to get colder. We're here in Vegas. Actually, I don't know why I'm wearing this sweater. It's like 69 degrees, but this is what happens. When it starts to get colder here in Vegas, everybody starts coming out here. They travel from the East Coast, the Midwest, because this is beautiful weather. And, now that it's so dead and empty, I'm just driving around looking at great spots where I could park cars and make relationships with either other hotels, other casinos, or even shops to park my cars here and offer them as a rental service to their people. So, I think the market is finally turned in a bad way for the good. Now, a lot of people are going to be asking me, Lucky, why would you want to get started in a downtime when everybody's looking bad? This is usually when people that operate correctly can get everything for cheap and then go up. Perfect example, acquisition of cars. I'm getting cars today cheaper than I did back in 2019 because the surplus and repos. Now, this is something I'm going to share with everybody. You cannot be a successful rental car company unless you get your cars thousands of dollars back of wholesale. I'm going to say it again. You cannot be a successful rental car company if you don't buy your cars thousands of dollars behind wholesale book. The reason is because if I buy 30 cars and let's say the market's not that fast and I need to sell half of them, I'm in a good equity position where I could sell those cars and I'll either make money or break even, or if worst case scenario, maybe lose a few dollars, but I can get out of my overhead and save money. The reason why you see all these Turo guys and all these gurus going broke is because they can't get rid of their cars because they owe more money than what they're worth. They got traditional loans, they put no money down, and then every time they made $1 off a Turo, they put it in their pocket and robbed the piggy bank instead of paying down their cars. And so this is why I'm buying cars for really cheap. I'll be in a good position. I could buy 20, 30, 40, 50 cars. And if something happens where I need to get out of it, I can. I can just sell my stuff, get out of it, and it's no big deal. So worst case scenario, if I get into the market and it's tougher than what I think and I'm not renting as many cars, then probably what I'll do is I'll just sell the stuff and move on and do something else. But I figured now would be a great opportunity, especially with this casino offering happen. So the casino is still not 100%. I'm still waiting for them to. It's a big deal with casinos here. You got to go through tons of meetings and everybody's got to sign off on it, but I'm pretty much 90% of the way. But at the end of the day, I thought about it. I was like, well, even if I do it on the side just for fun, I might as well do it anyways, because I'm still looking for a lot here in Vegas to open up a dealership. And when I tell you that these owners are smoking crack, like what they want to charge for a parking lot, I'm not even joking. Like there's a place down the street here called Boulder Highway. It's literally full of tweakers and cars get broken into. It's not a good spot. And lots used to go there for $3,000 to $4,000. Today, $10,000, $15,000, $20,000, $30,000. And I just laugh. I'm like, I don't know how these guys are even making money. So the more I drive down these streets, the more I see empty businesses. So hopefully I'll get started with the rental car business for the meantime, get this rolling, and then hopefully ringing in the new year will be through licensing, if everything goes well with the casino. And then once I actually publicly have it there, I'll make an announcement, and then you guys will be along for the journey. So make sure you watch Friday's video. I'm going to be back in the backyard fixing some of these cars. But if you guys have any questions, please put in the comments section below. And I hope you guys had an amazing Thanksgiving. We'll see you guys next time.